Thanks for joining us on the CBN News Channel. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. New revelations are expected about government spying on American citizens' programs in the days ahead. Protests at home and abroad are growing over revelations that a U.S. intelligence agency has been mining data from phone and internet companies. Today, the man wanted for leaking the information has gone into hiding. Edward Snowden is on the run today. He's the target of an international manhunt by federal agents after revealing top-secret information about the NSA's massive data collection programs. The journalist who broke the story says more bombshells are coming. Snowden reportedly has more documents that will produce dozens more stories in the weeks and months ahead.
We're going to have a lot more significant revelations that have not yet been heard.
Meanwhile, U.S. lawmakers are condemning Snowden's leak, and some are calling for criminal charges.
He's a traitor. These are important national security programs to help keep Americans safe and give us tools to fight the terrorist threat that we face.
Members of Congress are also criticizing the Obama administration for failing to protect privacy rights in its pursuit of terrorists. Representative Adam Schiff said, quote, "There's very little trust in the government, and that's for good reason. We're our own worst enemy." The U.S. faces anger from abroad as well. Officials in Germany and the European Union issued complaints over programs that target suspicious foreign messages transmitted through U.S. providers. Meanwhile, according to a new Washington Post Pew Research poll, the majority of Americans support the NSA tracking. Overall, 56% of Americans say it's acceptable for the government to investigate possible terrorist threats, even if that means compromising personal privacy. 41% say the practice is unacceptable. Snowden's whereabouts are unknown. The U.S. does have an extradition treaty with Hong Kong, but that might mean having to deal with China.
The Obama administration has dropped its bid to prevent young girls from buying emergency contraceptives without a prescription. The Obama administration had argued that age limits for the morning after pill are common sense. Now the administration says it's ending an appeal and will abide by a judge's order to make Plan B available to women and girls of any age without a prescription. Opponents argue that parents and medical professionals should be involved in major medical decisions involving young girls.
A multi-denominational group of Ohio churches is worried the president's health care law does not protect religious liberty. The Ohio Council of Churches issued a statement calling for more to be done to broaden the religious exemption in the plan's contraception mandate. The group says it doesn't oppose most of Obamacare, but it is concerned about the plan's definition of religious institutions and its impact on religious charities, hospitals, and universities. Roman Catholic leaders have also spoken out against the plan.
Senator Marco Rubio tells CBN News he has a plan to get rid of Obamacare. It would involve passing a constitutional amendment that would ban any law that taxes Americans who don't buy a good or service. The new health care law does just that. Rubio sat down with CBN's David Brody to explain the problem with that.
Under the ruling the Supreme Court had, if tomorrow the federal government decided every American must have a smartphone, and if you don't, we're going to tax you for not having a smartphone, they could do that under the logic of this ruling. So obviously health care is a much bigger issue. So we are basically filing a constitutional amendment which says that you can't do that the government cannot compel Americans to buy a service or a good by punishing them for not doing it.
It's called the Right to Refuse Amendment. Rubio believes it will gain support when Americans start to realize how bad Obamacare is. We've got more of David's interview with Rubio on today's CBN 700 Club. He goes in depth about his efforts to lead the way on immigration reform.
Tea Party groups and other conservatives are fighting an attempt to give the federal government more control over education. They're concerned about the new Common Core standards. Opponents in Michigan and Indiana just recently blocked the Common Core and the related federal standardized test. Other states are pushing back as well, but the new federal education standards are being adopted by more than 40 states. They're doing it because they want to get a share of the education money tied to the 2009 stimulus bill.
And joining us now with more is Emmett McGroarty of the American Principles Project. Now, the whole Common Core idea might be a surprise to some people. Tell us briefly what it is.
The Common Core is national academic standards for kindergarten through 12th grade in English and math. They were developed with private money and are owned by private associations.
Now, how much control will this give the federal government over the nation's education system?
This is a major shift in our education system. It shifts the control over the content of what children learn from the states and local governments to the federal government, and even beyond the federal government to these private associations that own the Common Core, and then behind the private associations are the private entities that funded the development of the Common Core. So it's a major shift in education, and that's what parents are upset about.
Definitely. Well, what happens to states and schools that don't want to play along with the Common Core?
Well, the states that don't want to play along to it are really on the right side of history. They're protecting their students, they're protecting their parents, and the right of parents to be a player, to have a say in what their children learn and who teaches it to them. I would say, too, they're really protecting teachers, too. I mean, the evaluation of teachers should really be a conversation among the principal, the parent, and the teacher, and perhaps the local school board, perhaps the state, but definitely not the federal government, definitely not private entities, definitely not a collection of states.
Do they lose funding as well?
Well, no, they won't lose funding. What the Common Core did, Common Core was embedded in the Race to the Top program. So what happened is the federal government said to states, if you want to be competitive for this money, you have to show your loyalty, your fidelity to our planned policy changes. So states had to compete against each other by basically bowing down to the federal government.
Now, some may hear about this and think that it sounds a little bit like what happened with Obamacare and health care. Would that be an accurate analogy?
Look, with health care, at least there was a national debate. There was a vote in Congress on the issue. This Common Core program was foisted onto the states without a real vote in Congress. There was the money for it was in the stimulus bill, and the states adopted them in a rush. They adopted them in order to be competitive for stimulus money. So there was never really a vote in the legislatures. So the people and their elected legislators were cut out of the process. This is worse than Obamacare in terms of the federal coercion.
Definitely. Now, real quickly, what's the problem with creating federal education standards?
The problem is that you create a greater distance between the children and their parents and the decision makers on education policy. Now, it used to be, and with respect to English and math, that if a parent had a concern about what the children were learning, those decisions could be addressed within the state. Now the decisions will be made outside the state. They'll be made among a collection of over 40 states, the federal government, the private associations that own the Common Core standards.
Thank you so much, Mr. McGrory, for joining us. We appreciate your insights.
Thank you.
Hundreds of Turkish riot police moved in on an anti-government protesters, in Istanbul today, blasting them with rubber bullets and tear gas. They forced them out of Taksim Square, where they've been holding out for more than a week. Police also broke up other protests in Ankara using water cannons and tear gas. Massive crowds have been protesting for 12 days against the strong-arm tactics of Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan. They also accuse Erdogan of trying to turn Turkey into an Islamic state, undermining Turkish secular traditions and freedoms.
A top Israeli official warns that Iran is planning on building more than just a nuclear bomb. It wants to build an arsenal of nuclear weapons. Israel's strategic affairs minister says Iran's goal is to produce dozens of nuclear bombs a year.
We are speaking about an historical game changer. It's going to change the world. It's going to create a dangerous new world, totally different than today. It's going to have terrible, dramatic effect, not just on the Middle East and Israel, but also on Europe and the United States and beyond.
Yuval Steinitz says international sanctions against Iran are significant, but it's not enough to make Iran abandon its goals of a nuclear arsenal.
The Swedish government has decided not to deport an Iranian Christian facing possible prison and torture in Iran. Reza Jabari was given permanent residency Monday by Sweden's Migration Board. The Swedish government had previously ordered Jabari to be deported despite his Christian testimony. Jabari's pastor, Chai Berger, says CBN's story about Jabari's situation changed the political climate for Christian refugees seeking asylum in Sweden.
Coming up, converting to coins, why some say the move could save America big.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 U.S. gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't!
They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry.
Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Standard & Poor's rating services boosted its outlook for U.S. government debt. S&P says one reason is government spending levels are stabilizing. The credit rating agency also says the economy has started to improve and is expected to continue that trend. S&P changed its outlook from negative to stable. That means it's not as likely to downgrade the country's debt in the near future. S&P had downgraded the U.S. government's long-term credit rating back in 2011.
Many Americans want Congress to start saving money. Well, there's one place lawmakers might not have considered: exchanging paper money for coins. Some say converting to coins could save America $4.5 billion, maybe even $40 billion. Paul Strand takes a look at the move to get America to abandon paper bills.
7 times now, the Government Accountability Office has begged Congress to abandon the bill. But lawmakers don't like offending voters, and the Federal Reserve, a coin opponent, says 3/4 of Americans don't want the change. Coin fans say that number nearly reverses to 61% support when Americans find out how much the switchover would save.
4.4 billion savings over 30 years. And if we actually take a look at what happened in Canada, they blew past their projections of savings.
Congress recently heard Canada saved more than 10 times what it thought it would when Canadians unexpectedly went loony for the $1 loony coin. And it's a happy accident. There's a loon on it instead of a French-Canadian explorer.
Dies were shipped to Winnipeg and were lost. And it was not a loon that was supposed to be the design on the $1 coin. It was supposed to be a voyageur. The dies have never been found. It was a major snowstorm. Nobody ever knows. As a result of that, the Canadian government immediately made the decision to bring the loon design up. The loon design caught on and was called a loonie.
The Canadians say one other key was they replaced paper bills fast.
Once you get that done, people are quite happy. The loon up there is very popular.
Former Reagan budget director Jim Miller scoffs at that idea.
Are you really prepared to force voters, to use a means of exchange they clearly reject out of hand?
Opponents point out 3 times the mints failed to sell the coin. Former Congressman Jim Colby of the Dollar Coin Alliance says there's more to that than meets the eye, like what happened with the Sacagawea buck.
There was a tremendous demand for it, and in fact, the Mint took to directly sending these to Walmart, and there were lines at Walmart stores of people trying to get the Sacagawea coins.
But the Federal Reserve distributes all our money, and the Fed itself makes profit from selling only paper money, so it began choking off the coins.
The merchants, they found it more difficult to get the coins to keep in their drawers because the Federal Reserve Board wasn't making it easy for them to get it. You see, the Federal Reserve Board gets the profit from making the paper dollars, and the Mint gets the profit from making all coins.
If the coin ever does take off, much of the saving, financially and environmentally, will come from getting rid of a paper bill that wears out in 2 to 4 years.
A coin lasts for 30 years at least before it gets so degraded that you can't use it anymore, and then you can melt it down and reuse it. You can't do that with paper. You have to pulp it and then shred it, and then it goes into landfills. Tons and tons and tons of landfill every year are paper dollars that are shredded up.
A final point, we'd have fewer coins to sort out and save a huge bundle by also getting rid of the pennies and nickels that now cost more to make than they're worth.
The penny costs about 2.4 cents to mint, and nickel costs 11.1 cents to mint.
More than 70% of the mint's production goes into making pennies, which you just drop on the street or you put into a jar someplace.
But is all this change Americans will buy? Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
Up next, the church has ignored it for too long and people have died because of it. Hear how Christians are addressing mental illness. It's coming up next.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans. with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right. You could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
The nation's largest Protestant denomination begins its annual meeting amid declining membership. The Southern Baptist Convention meets in Houston today and tomorrow. The SBC has nearly 16 million members, but an annual report says membership fell for the 6th year in a row in 2012. Baptisms also fell by more than 5%. However, the denomination did add about 270 new churches last year. The SBC's vote on resolutions declaring federal policies and on contraception coverage and gays in the military to be threats to religious liberty. It is also expected to urge churches not to sponsor Boy Scout troops because of its policy allowing gay scouts.
Well, it is one of the leading causes of death in the United States, but few people talk about it. Now, after suicides rocked two prominent evangelical families, mental health is becoming a major topic for many in the church.
Heather Sells recently spoke to Dr. Frank Page of the Southern Baptist Convention about how this tragedy affected his family and what he's doing about it.
Frank Page was alone at home when the call came that would change his world. His 32-year-old daughter, Melissa, had taken her life. Although she struggled for years, Page knew something had changed that week.
2 days before she died, I said, Melissa, no one loves you like your daddy, and nobody knows you like your daddy, and I know something's wrong, bad wrong, baby. Please, when she was getting ready to go talk to her mental health professional, you tell him that your daddy thinks that you need to be hospitalized.
As the top leader for Southern Baptist, Page sets the direction for the denomination's 16 million members. He's also served as a megachurch pastor. But Page calls parenting his oldest daughter one of his most daunting challenges. It's why he wrote Melissa, to encourage others on a similar journey and challenge the church to reach out. Page and his wife Dale recently invited CBN News to their Nashville home to talk about their daughter, their enduring grief, and their hope. The Pages say Melissa accepted Christ as a child, but her life wasn't easy.
We worried about her constantly. Wanted to be able to help her.
But she struggled with addictive issues, behavioral issues, rebellion issues. She struggled in many, many ways, relationally. She was gifted beyond words and struggled beyond words.
In her 20s, Melissa reached a period of stability. She married and seemed headed on a smoother path. But then a bout with cancer led to a prescription pill addiction, and she spiraled downward once again. The Pages say she never mentioned suicide, leaving them in shock the day she died.
People say, you know, she committed suicide in November. And what was it like the first Christmas? I don't remember. I don't.
We were still in that fog.
Now, the second Christmas, I well remember. Then the grief, it was even worse for me.
After more than 3 years, the Pages describe their grief like waves, continually rolling in, but varying in frequency and intensity. Their great comfort, knowing Melissa is at peace in heaven. It's a biblical truth they say our culture has undermined.
People will say, well, if you commit suicide, you're going to hell.
It's a belief the Pages want the church to challenge.
But I think you have to get to the point where, you know, if you belong to Christ and you're his child, then nothing can separate you.
It's a family thing, and family never changes.
Moving forward, the Pages hope to build on the growing national awareness of mental health issues. It started with last year's Newtown shootings and continued in April with the suicide of Pastor Rick Warren's son.
I think the timing is fascinating, that indeed all these things have happened in a very short period of time. And I think God's going to use all those things, bad things, to bring forth a movement among God's people.
At its annual convention in Houston, the denomination will promote awareness of mental health issues. Page hopes to begin to ease some of the stigma surrounding these issues and to encourage churches to more proactively minister to those who are suffering.
There are legitimate, serious issues people struggle with, and the church needs to be the place where we say, we understand.
For those walking through grief or depression, Page says the local church can help through support groups, counseling, or simply awareness of community resources. It's an enormous challenge, but with more than 36,000 people taking their lives each year, it could meet an enormous need. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Such an important issue that the church needs to face head on.
36,000 people taking their lives. We definitely need to address it. Thank God for the book and for them ministering through their pain and grief.
That's right.
Stay with us. We're coming right back.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Sheryl Sandberg is a wife and mother, but she's also a successful Facebook executive and a best-selling author.
Over the weekend, she took her message directly to high school graduates. Sandberg called on students to be the lean-in generation, not fearing success and going after not only their small wishes, but also their big dreams.
Graduates, with my congratulations to you, ask yourselves, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Then lean in and go do it.
I would actually do a lot if I wasn't afraid. Raise my hand more in class or voice my opinion more, not be intimidated with other people.
Sandberg says she knows it can be hard to own your success, especially if it means everyone may not like you, but she hopes she can inspire a generation to do just that. Lean in.
That's going to do it for the News Channel.
We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.